Welcome to the Non-Essential Podcast. I'm Steve Gibson.
I'm Ben Matlock. And this episode of the Non-Essential Podcast is brought to you by the pricks who drive Ford F-150s but work in offices.
Well, yes, it almost literally, because I drive a Chevy Silverado and work in an office. I don't drive it much anymore because it's an extra vehicle now.
Yes, it's very annoying where I work. Everybody has these giant fucking trucks, and they fucking don't... Like, they went camping once in, like, 95, you know?
Yeah,
like, they don't...
That's the thing.
They're not outdoorsy people in my town.
Like I say, it's a little, like, hypocritical because I do have a truck, and for years it was my... But it was a hand-me-down. I didn't...
But also, I see, like, your Twitter sometimes, like, you guys will go out and, like, you do shit sometimes. These guys literally, like, I'm talking, they are just as sedentary as I am, but they need a fucking road clogger.
Yeah, and it's funny because then they act like their truck, like, stay away, don't you dare ding my truck. It's like, it's a fucking truck. It was built to be, like... dinged and used.
That is something. Like, when did that happen with, like, cars? Where it was like, they have to always be pristine and shit. Otherwise, it's like, you would think for how often we drive in this country, everyone would have fucked up cars everywhere, and we'd just be used to that. But it's like, you get, like, one fucking scratch, like, you're willing to die for that shit.
Yeah, no, there's a lot to be said for having a dinged up car because people stay the fuck away from it in the parking lot because they assume... Like,
don't park near me. Yeah. Like, I'm a problem. But
no, we were actually just making this observation. For as, like, redneck rural city as I am, like our town is, and it's, I don't want to make it sound like it's a population 50 thing. It's not, it's still a city, albeit a very, small one. But we've got one steakhouse, which is constantly, like... There's never
almost
less
impossible to have only one.
Well, there's never less than like an hour and a half wait at best because it's just... I don't know how nobody else has been like, hey, let's also open one of these because it's free money. But
nobody else
the other
can
thing,
cook a steak.
Well, it's Texas Roadhouse. They're not like knocking it out of the park. They're fine, but whatever. But every fucking person, at least 90% of the vehicles in the parking lot are those big fucking trucks.
Yeah.
And there's no reason for it other than they're country boys that have to show off their big fucking trucks. And it's like they're driving, and I say country boy, it's like guys in their like 50s and 60s, and they're driving in from, the country, and they got to take their big truck with their wife in it. And it's like, I know you guys own a fucking car.
Well, there should be like a special license. Like you have to go camping like every couple of months. I don't care if it's fucking winter. You should have thought about that.
Well, that's the thing. I talked to a lot of, because we do insurance, so we insure a lot of these people, and they're like, I needed something bigger to haul my camper. It's like, oh, you going camping this year? They're like, well, probably not. It's like, did you go last year? No. But we have a camper and a big ass truck. It's like, oh, okay.
I thought about fishing once, but then I just played Call of Duty. It's... Yeah.
And, far be it for me to tell people how to spend their money. It's their money, but
you're in my way.
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
That's where this whole rant came from. You're bugging me. It's all about me.
So this week's show is about guys driving big fucking trucks.
That's a great segue, actually, because this week is all about me.
Well, I had the shits again.
Yeah, that is true. Also very true, but that's not the topic. I didn't have a topic. Literally until I jumped on the call, because this week has just been hell. I have had enough time the last few days to eat dinner and fall asleep. It's just been one of those situations.
Yeah. Oh, I get it. We've got 5 employees to man 2 locations, and out of those 5, 3 of them have been off all week.
Cool.
So, right. It's been fun.
Yeah. I've certainly showed up for work, but I wouldn't say I was there. I spent hours staring at my reflection in the computer monitor. I
miss those days. I haven't had a minute to stare at my reflection. Yeah. It's not pleasant, but it's more pleasant than
just work. Daydreaming about some like a hand reaching out and
Job.
yanking you in. And next thing you know, you're in all your favorite and least favorite porn websites.
Almost. That's
So I found a creepypasta, and this one's called Ben, a true story.
Oh, right. You know what? I think I've seen this one before because I thought I don't remember anything about it, but it's like, it's about Ben. I better do it.
Well, if you read it, then hold your tongue. But yeah, I don't think you read this one, but how would I know?
No,
I just found
I
it.
didn't read it on the air, but I think I read it on. I can't talk while I'm holding my tongue. I think that's the point. But no, I'm sure we haven't done it on the show, but I think I just came across it when I was looking for.
I didn't even put two and two together. That's what you were doing. I thought you were literally just having a stroke. And I don't know how I would handle that. I'd probably just send the call.
Yeah, I'd be like,
Tara
can deal with this.
And block you. I'd be like, I don't remember doing a show with anyone. It's like, you did 200 episodes with him. Doesn't sound like me.
No. Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you. If you ever get drug into questioning, like an interrogation regarding the show, deny, yeah.
I've been watching The Wire. Lawyer. So, yeah, this one doesn't have an author attached to it, which is good, because I've noticed with the stories I've tried to grab that do have authors, they're like, you got to get my express permission to use this. I was like, that's not what fair use means, but I'll respect it and not use it, because I'd rather not have that awkward conversation. Explaining what we do here.
Again, deniability. Like, you didn't get my permission. Be like, we didn't read your story.
Yeah,
it's right here. I don't know what you're talking about.
I wrote that.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't even claim responsibility. I'd be like, we didn't read that.
It's about me.
It's right here.
Yeah. I have more legal right for this one because it's called Ben. It's about me.
Right. You didn't get my permission.
This happened to me, so I want royalties if anything.
Anyway,
let's
Ben,
do
the
this.
creepypasta.
I was with two of my friends, Ben and Nick, on holidays when it happens, which is already, I don't have two friends. No. We're already embellishing. We were in an isolated part of Greece, somewhere that doesn't show up on Google Maps for some reason, traveling down a long stretch of road in our hire car in search of the next major city to party in. What is there in Greece? What do they got? Be like
Greek people.
But I mean, like, party towns, like,
Athens, I guess.
Yeah, it's like Athens is and all I know about Athens.
Circle around the country and you're back in Athens. You're like, all right.
I'm just imagining like three frat fucks who played like God of War once and like show up in like nothing but underwear and shields, like ready to fight.
Isn't Crete a Greek island? Although you're not going to drive there.
That's what you think.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I'm forgetting what it was like to be a drunk man. Right. Now I'm thinking back to my college days and saying we probably would like find a way to drive the car through the ocean.
Dude, this is a hire car. We don't even have to give a shit.
Right, and it sounds like they're from out of the country, so like you just leave, and what are they going to do?
Plunge this shit into the sea. After initially planning on driving through the night, we bitched out. No. We accepted that we had lost our way and it was getting too dark to continue, so we pulled into a gas station for directions on where we could stay. The old man handed us an old brochure of a nearby village and insisted we go check it out. Since we were completely lost, we were left with no other option.
Here's a hint. Never go to a village that has its own brochure.
No.
Like, if you say, like, here's a brochure of a, resort or a inn or a hotel, be like, great. But when it's like, here's a village brochure, just stay the fuck away.
Yeah, you're going to end up in that fucking village like in Hot Fuzz, where it's like, everything seems great, and then they kill you for, pissing up against a wall.
Yeah.
Since we were completely lost, we were left with no other option. Something different, we thought, but just how different we could never have guessed, as we took the next left turn and ventured into the headlight-lit darkness. The only form of lodging out there was in remote cabins, separated far apart from each other for privacy, we guessed. The self-contained cabin had a bathroom, kitchen, queen bed, and a single bed. All that we needed for one night.
I like the idea of a non-self-contained cabin. It's just like 2 of the 4 walls, and then your bathroom's just like in some other building somewhere else. And then
I remember when my mom was buying this house, she was looking at other places, and there was one that was like, it was like a house, and then there was like a separate house. It was just a little shack, honestly, that I was going to be living in. And then there was like
shack boy.
And then there was like an outhouse bathroom. And I was like, I don't live in fucking medieval times. I'm not running butt ass naked in the winter back to my home, like through the woods.
Yeah, that's the thing is you don't. I mean, it would be. It blows my mind. There's people around here that still have like outhouses like for their bathrooms, but like the climate's not conducive. But even if you're farther south, then there's like spider and snake and shit that I don't want it to deal with in my outhouse.
That's what I'm saying. Like where that was, it was like thick woods, and it was like, not that being fully clothed and dry would make it any better, but there's just something about being bare-assed and getting mauled by a bear that I'm not into. For some reason, that's just insult to injury. So, they got 2 beds and all the other shit. And here's a weird sentence. Nick won the rock off for the single bed, so Ben and I would be sharing.
What the fuck's a rock off?
Yeah.
Like, I've heard of getting your rocks off, and maybe that's their college guys. They're like, all right, off. Whoever finishes first wins.
Who's fucking air guitared harder? Like,
well, yeah, that too.
I don't. Yeah. Either way, Nick was king at it.
I'm assuming it's like a term that we from somewhere else for like rock, paper, scissors, but like that's not what I'm picturing.
I don't know why my head immediately goes to the worst thing where like whoever can last the longest while some other guy just like boxing speed bags your testicles. Like, that's the rock off. Nick snores anyway, so I was cool with that. So this dude really wants to shack up with me. One feature of the cabin that unnerved me, however, was the large square curtainless window that occupied the entire area of the vacant wall. It bothered me especially now because night had fallen and the light was on inside, so it acted as a sort of two-way mirror. Anyone wearing black could easily look through it without being noticed. Which, I'm sure happens all the time in Greece.
Oh, right. Well, that's why they send tourists here. It's a human zoo. They're like...
Yeah. Just some dude in all black. Sleeping well?
No, I don't. He's not even. It doesn't interact with you. It's that GIF where you're like eating popcorn and just like excellent, excellent.
I don't know how I'd feel about that. Like that would definitely be a menacing, wouldn't it?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
But if a dude just watched you and ate popcorn the entire night.
Now, to be fair, because I likely wouldn't be doing anything that I cared if anybody was watching. So if they gave you a heads up and this guy he likes to eat popcorn and watch people, he's harmless, I'd be like, okay, that's weird, but whatever.
If they give you half off on the room, would you do it?
Sure. But if you didn't know he's there, that's creepy.
Yeah, I don't know if I could do it. I'd keep trying to interact with him, and he'd be like, "Stop!
Well,
it ruins it for me."
Yeah, I know that'd be the number one problem. He'd be like, "Wait, where'd Steve go?" And then all of a sudden, I'd be like popping around the corner, like, "Hey, buddy, I just want to make sure you're all right. Do you need a drink or something?" He'd be like, "No talking."
I love dried popcorn. Fuck off. We made plans to go out that night to the village bar, have some drinks, tell stories, and see where the night takes us. We discussed that we would leave the key under the rock by the front porch, and if we were split up, whoever came home first would leave the door open for the others to get in. And of course...
Smart.
Smart.
That's
totally
way more...
not how it's played out in any road trip I've been on.
No, I was going to say, that's way better planning than... ours is, well, we'll give the key to this guy, and it's the least responsible guy that ends up, going home with random people to party, and then you're like, well, we can't get back to our fucking house now. Great.
Yeah. Then you find out he lost the key, so you're all sleeping outside.
With the popcorn guy.
Yeah, with popcorn guy. It's like, you guys want to get in on this? Why don't you say it louder so everyone can hear where we hide it? Ben joked. I'm going to have a lot of trouble saying I joked. Because I was there.
Yeah.
To which Nick found the pleasure in yelling it at the top of his lungs. Luckily, our cabin was isolated out here, and there was no one close by, I thought to myself as we drove off. It was a surprisingly fun night at the bar. We had plenty of shots of the local drink, ouzo, until the bar staff informed us we had drunk their stocks dry. It was cheap, though, in Greece.
I've heard of it before. I don't remember what it is.
It was ouzo. Sounds like some shit. It's like fucking... Sounds like something you just sneezed into. Just a regular drink. Also, have you ever drank a bar dry? Ever?
Yeah. No.
No, they kick you out because you're annoying.
Well, I mean, and frankly, by that point, if you've drank them out of auzo, there's plenty of other shit, and you're drunk enough that you really don't care anymore what you're drinking. So you just move on to the next. Yeah. If you've cleaned the bar out, like you said, they're going to kick you the fuck out. Like,
yeah, as we know, like, bars hate like selling all their shit to tourists.
Yeah, for 8 times what they're charging anybody else. Yeah,
you're the only people drinking ouzo.
I don't know if I'm proud that I was right. It's a anise flavored, or anise, however you pronounce that, liquor, which is cool that I knew it. But then I'm like, wait. Yeah, no, that's my alcoholism coming out. I've never had it, though, but I remember seeing it on a Zane Lamprey show. He used to do a travel show about drinking, which was hilarious.
Yeah. I've never had it, but apparently I have, because I'm here.
Because you're in the story, right?
Having it.
Well, that's how you know it's good, is you don't remember having it.
But this is good, because this explains why I don't remember any of this. The next thing I knew, it was late, the bar was closing, and we had lost Ben. So I was having my own...
You're the dick that I was just talking about, that you don't leave the key with, because...
Yeah. He must have left without us, though I don't remember him telling us he was leaving, I thought. Slightly concerned by him acting out a character. That's not out of actually my character. I am the type of dude who will just bolt.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be to like, oh, I'm going with these random people to party. It'd be like, I'm going back home to sleep. Fuck this.
Pretty much, it's pretty much. I'll be like, I don't like this bar. It's way too loud. Yeah. And rather than explain that, like, I'm having a fucking panic attack, like, I'll just bolt. Trying to get better about that, but in Greece, you know, it's got to be a quieter one. Okay, you must have left without us. Slightly out of character. So we left without him taking the car. So that's fucked up. Like,
I know. Like,
because if you took a car out of the country and you're like, I'm bolting.
Yeah, especially like it's maybe one thing if you're in your hometown and you're like, fuck it, like he knows people. Like it's still kind of a douche move, but if you looked around and you can't find him, you're like, whatever, he's probably gone somewhere. But yeah, if you're like on vacation on this road trip in Greece and you're like,
yeah,
whatever.
And there's only 3 of you. Like, how do you lose track of your dude like that? Like
Uzo, man, it fucking hits.
I guess, but guess what? This is how I got taken into human trafficking. You fuckers.
This is actually the origin story of how Ben got stuck doing podcasts.
Yeah, I've been... Yeah, it's like that fucking The Patient show. I'm just chained to a fucking bed in a basement, and I come out to record every week. I need to piss badly. I adjusted in my seat as the car headlights momentarily lit up the cabin, and we turned into the driveway to the sound of gravel crunching under the tires. We checked under the rock for the key. It was gone. We tried the door handle. Locked. What the fuck? We both looked at each other. Ben must have come home before us, and he's locked us out. Ben, open up. We need to piss. Together. Hold hands.
You're in the fucking woods. Like, yeah, just go, man.
Yeah, we need to piss in a warm embrace.
Remember we talked about this group piss at the end of the night.
We do it together. Hurry up, Ben. We banged on the door. I heard a stumbling inside, like someone literally crawling awkwardly on all fours out of bed. Damn, he must be drunk. I can't hold this piss anymore, I said, as Nick and I went to separate sides of the cabin to urinate over the roof onto each other.
Whoever drinks the most wins. That's the rock off.
Uzo makes really dumb games. As Nick and I went to separate sides of the cabin to urinate, as Ben finally opened the door. It felt good urinating. I don't know why he needs to say that. Like, it would have been worth mentioning if it burned, you know? Like,
for those folks who have never had to pee.
If you've never had Greek clap, it usually feels good.
Good. Come to Greece. The clap here feels good.
Like the old Greek round of applause, as they call it. It felt good urinating, but that feeling was harshly interrupted by what caught my attention on the large window, sending a large shiver up my spine. There was this long, thin set of handprints, only visible on the window from the mist outside. It looked longer than any human's hand, but much, much thinner. Holy shit. But I quickly cleared my mind of the scary and irrational images it was creating, as it was certainly just a regular human hand that had been smeared, causing the illusion that it's longer. Right?
No, it's Edward Penis Finger.
Yeah. Like, the whole time you're still peeing. You're pissing on your feet.
I know, that's awful, like, perceptive for a drunk that's pissing, because I've been there before, like, where
I've seen lots of shit, like, while I've been having, like, that final, like, drunken piss before you pass out, and you're just hoping that you stay upright to finish.
Exactly. That's the thing, is like you are kind of taking in your surroundings, in that, like, you're in that, like, childlike state of wonder where everything's amazing, but the most amazing thing is that you're still on your feet and that you're trying your fucking damnedest to stay that way, because nobody wants to stumble into there.
You're, like, simultaneously impressed that you're able to balance and that you're able to bank shot your piss.
Right. And then everything's funny, too. At least for me. Like,
at least you think you can. Then you wake up, you see what you did to the toilet. And...
Right. You're like, I can't believe I made that. I'm so good. In the morning, you're like, oh, fuck.
Fucking
somebody
no-handed it, man. I'm great. And then... Either way, it occurred to me that someone or something might have been watching us. I hurriedly finished my business and rushed inside. We are not turning the light on, I thought, to prevent anything from looking in at us, as I locked the front door and we went straight to bed. Nick fell asleep.
That's a smart, like, move. Like, don't look around the cabin. Let's just keep the lights off. And...
Yeah, we've read way too many, like, murder stories for me to ever do that. Even drunk. Like,
right.
I'm not saying it'll sober me up, but I'll think it has. And you'll watch me stumble through my cabin like fucking, like, on red alert, as much as a drunk person can be.
I'm picturing you that drunk, having that thought in this cabin suddenly at the end of the night, where you're like, fuck, I've seen too many of these murder stories. The one thing that they all have in common is there's only one murderer. Oh. So if I'm the murderer, then I'm safe. And then you just start, like, murdering people. Like, haha.
By process of elimination, I'm safe. Nick fell asleep instantly, snoring before his head had even hit the pillow. And after a few minutes of tolerating Nick's inconsistent snore, my drooping eyes felt weary, so I closed them. As soon as they shut, I couldn't help but get the burning feeling that Ben's eyes had opened suddenly and were staring straight at me, menacingly.
Again, that's right in character for you.
Like, if one of my friends did that to me, or I just had that vibe, like, I would just be like, like, again, like you said, process of elimination. He would definitely be the killer. I have to defend myself. That's why I had to shoot everybody in this building. My body rose in temperature and my heart beat quicker as I sensed this, as if Ben was holding his breath, vision fixated on me angrily through the darkness.
So, like, is this a, like, I'm scared response, or is this like a flirty, like, ooh, my, Ben?
I'd be terrified.
Yeah.
I'd be terrified if I looked at someone longingly and that was them. Like, be like, this fucking weirdo looks like he hasn't slept in 6 days. What does he want? Sorry if we hadn't gone home with him. Jeez, why would he be so angry? After a few minutes of calming myself from this irrational fear, I drifted off to sleep. Knock, knock, knock. Open up. You said you wouldn't lock it. Thud, thud, thud. It grew louder. Open the door. It's fucking cold out here. This was the single scariest moment of my entire life, and the most paralyzing sensation swept over my entire body. It was Ben at the door. Suddenly, there was a movement in the sheets next to me, something stirring. I got up faster than I ever have in my life and ran to the door. Nick had awoken and come to the same horrific realization as soon as me, right behind me and kicking the door open and fleeing outside to the car. Not once did we look back. I started.
So Ben's standing out there at this door that just got kicked outward, and his two buddies ran past him. He's just like, "What the fuck?"
And that's like the horror movie thing. That's how I would die, because like my friends would bolt past me. I'd be like, "What? What is it?" And then the thing would it would be like The Thing, where it just is running through the hallway and just grabs me.
Right.
I started the car and beckoned Ben to follow, but he didn't know what had happened. Still facing into the room, he turned on the light to see inside. This was a true story. It really happened. You can ask Nick if you don't believe me, but I wouldn't ask Ben. He doesn't say much anymore after the incident, and whenever questioned about what he saw that night, his face turns pale and expressionless, and he will immediately shut the nearest curtain.
It was his parents having sex.
Yeah, it was like you guys didn't piss on the side of the cabin at all. It was the biggest piss puddle in the middle of a bed he's ever seen.
Right.
It had fucking eels and shit swimming in it. That's what happens when you drink ooza.
Ooza.
A wooza.
I looked it up. They have it at the local liquor store for like $18. So there might be an ooza experiment for next week's show.
Yeah, we should give it a shot. It looks like kind of milky. At least this video on the Wikipedia, or the picture on the Wikipedia page.
Well, like I said, it's like $18 for the bottle, so it's got to be quality stuff. I don't. It looks. I'm always up for a challenge.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at the wrong number, Steve. I'm looking at percentage and ounces.
Yeah, I didn't bother to look to see what how high the alcohol content is. It said it was a cordial. Good. Yeah,
it's got to be good, man.
But like anise is that like licorice flavor, so it sounds to me very similar to.
It's 40%. This bottle I'm looking at.
That's not bad.
Yeah,
it'll get the job done.
In record time. If it's just you, and it is just me because I'm very, very alone. And my alcoholism. No, I actually don't. I don't drink that often these days, but when I do, I try to experiment with dumb shit. So, Ouzo is right up my alley these days.
I don't know. I go through phases on the stuff I like.
Oh,
right now, my favorite is sleep, but
yeah,
like.
Which you can only get in Greece, oddly enough.
I like that the story ended like, oh man, one look and this guy doesn't even talk anymore.
Yeah.
But whatever this creature was, like, just wanted some company to like.
Yeah, it just
sleep with that night.
It just like menacingly spooned you.
Right.
The
like
night.
They were literally asleep, the most vulnerable you could be, and the thing didn't do shit to them. So.
Yeah. I did like it was, kind of the. Sometimes I like a simple like ghost or monster story, where sometimes I feel like creepypastas kind of they aim a little too high for what they're going for their concept, and sometimes you're like, yeah, you're out of town and a creepy thing happens,
The only thing for me is that, like, that whole, like, oh, there was just this big creepy window with no drapes. Like, that didn't come into play that much. It's like, oh, there was a handprint on it. But, like, it could have been a regular window with a handprint on it. Like, there was not really it was like it was setting up that, oh, we were going to be spied on much longer, but whatever.
Yeah,
I mean,
like, it kind of sets it up. Like, it almost, the story just changed directions because the way they had talked about that window, you would think there would be part of the story where there's something outside the cabin menacing you instead of, like, I'm pissing outside. Like, if anything, the monster's being menaced because a couple drunk guys are staring at it through the window pissing.
And it still let you in. And it's like, yeah, come on to bed, guys. You look drunk. You need some rest.
Yeah.
Like, he sounds like a pretty caring monster.
Yeah.
But no, I get it.
What
like,
what if it was never their cabin? Like, what if they just went to the wrong fucking cabin?
Tall, lanky dude with big hands.
Yeah.
It's just, the handprint was just him looking outside earlier in the day.
He's fucked on Uzo, too. It's like, I guess they got a piss.
Yeah. Tune in next week with a creepypasta from the other guy's perspective. Where he's like, I was just in bed and these two drunk guys came in and their buddy came by and I thought I'd let him in too, and they just screamed and ran. Yeah. Like, I don't...
And the only reason I'm traumatized from it is, like, his penis looked like a pig cock.
Yeah. I don't know what a pig cock looks like. I don't really want to know.
You need to get down on the farm, my friend.
I mean, I kind of imagine...
You've been eating them your entire life. No.
Well, yeah, but I haven't looked at them when I eat. I like to close my eyes when I eat pig dick.
Really let the senses take over. My eyes just limit this whole thing. I got pig dick and Uso.
Well, when in Greece, I guess.
You actually stir it with the pig dick. It's
a garnish.
Yeah. I can't wait to try it. I'm sure it's going to be like the worst fucking tasting thing.
Like I said, it sounds like Jägermeister, basically.
The photo looked like really kind of like cloudy, and it looked like the type of thing you would find like a pubic hair in.
So, cloudy with a chance of vomit.
Yeah. Well, the vomit's 40%. We'll get there anyway.
Yeah.
But they're going to make you work for it. What if that became the only thing you could, like, drink, though? Like, you became addicted to that. And you went to, like, every restaurant. You don't have Ouzo? Fuck.
Flip the table. There's a Kids in the Hall sketch.
The girl
Dave
drink
Foley.
drunk.
Yeah.
One of my favorites.
I know, it's wonderful. But now I'm picturing that, except for it's just Ouzo drunk. Like,
I'm just looking for paper clips. So, like, blending shit.
I love it. He pulls out, like, the 8 different little flasks, and then the one that's just like the parasols.
Yeah.
But man, that was such a good show.
Yeah. Way better than this one. Unfortunately.
I disagree. I think the Kids in the Hall, the whole cast, they're fans of the show. They listen.
You think Dave Foley would like me?
I think so.
You think we'd be buddies?
He's written in before. I didn't share it with you because I thought it would be too much pressure.
Because he didn't mention you once in the letter, but he's written it.
Wouldn't that be funny? You get like a tweet from a super famous person or a letter, like an email from a super famous person, but it only mentions one of the two of us.
You know, that would be true. Like, if you guys really want to, like, devastate me, write in fan mail, but don't bring me up at all. Like, just really, like, blow smoke up Steve's ass, and I would be devastated.
It would be evil, like, genius, because it would also fuck with me, because I cannot handle compliments.
Well, the show, so, like, if you want to end the show, you would kill my self-esteem, and you would, like blow so much smoke up Steve's ass that... Like, I know you couldn't handle the pressure. You would ruin the show.
No, exactly. It wouldn't be an ego thing. It would be like Like I can't. Yeah, I can't.
No,
handle
yeah,
this.
it's like, oh fuck,
Like
I
that.
could never like meet that standard.
Right.
And then it would
Yeah,
just be
like
like
I said, this stroke of genius. Like
it'd be like a Gatling gun of dad jokes for 30 minutes, while I just sort of mumble like,
I'm gonna fucking kill you. I do all the work around here.
It's not even that fucking funny. Why don't you edit it then? Here, you make it funny, fucker.
Yeah, I like it. That's like the perfect like Murder She Wrote plot, like for how to kill our show.
Yeah, and if a cast member on Kids in the Hall does it, just fuck. Yeah, I would be done for. I would delete every fucking like anything you knew I was to tell I was alive would be wiped off the internet, and I would be like in a fucking tent in the woods.
It's true because I'm one of the. I tend to not be like real like starstruck by people, but every single one of those. What gets me is like funny people because it's like
you should never.
I wish I was funny, and those are some of the funniest people that have ever lived, in my opinion.
You should never
They're
like
all...
tie your esteem to someone else, and that's true. And you should like. And we don't do this show for fucking anyone except like we get enjoyment out of it. But there is something about somebody you really admire and respecting being like, that's not very good. That just, it rips your fucking soul out.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. You never should
jokes
be your
on
heroes.
Jokes on them. I have no soul left. See, 20 years in an office job has crushed that. They're like, I take that. You suck, and you shouldn't even be alive. You're like, I know. I said that to myself 8 times today.
You know what? I updated my resume to say just that.
Yeah. Like I said, to get to me, it's less about the insults because there's not much to tear down there. It'd be more the other way.
Praise.
Like, yeah. I'd be like, what?
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're so funny. I love listening to you. I'd be like,
doesn't.
That
goes against everything I've been trying to build here. Kind of fucking up the brand.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the show this week. Thanks for listening, and
yeah, thanks for the vacation update. I was wondering how your trip to Greece went.
Very poorly.
Sounds like it was. It's okay for the other 2 friends, but you got fucked.
Yeah. I wonder what happened. Like, it just opened the door. Maybe the dude pissed on him.
Yeah.
He never talks about it because he just got fucking golden showered.
That's, I don't know. Yeah. That's the whole point of those kind of stories, is trying to imagine what you could see that, because he clearly survived. It didn't do anything to him except for where it broke his brain. And I don't know what I could see that would do that, but I'm sure there's stuff but oh, no, I didn't. So just keep this in. I'll be talking to myself. Yeah, I don't know.